Hey YouTube, welcome back to my video. It's me, Jennifer. How y'all been? Happy Saturday, or whatever day this gonna go up. Today is Saturday. It is October the 29th, and I just want to do like a recap of From Scratch on Netflix. Y'all, the show was so good. It like really applies to real life issues. It's fictional, but you can definitely, like, you know how everything have like a lesson or a meaning behind it. This definitely was that. I heard about it. My friend, she had posted it on Facebook, and so me and this particular friend, I ain't gonna say we always, but we used to be talking about our relationships and what we like about our relationship and just discussing things. And I used to always tell her, like, I don't think I'll be one of the people who just give up, especially on stuff that's like that you expect or things that you can't control. Like, I'm not throwing away a relationship just because we have an argument. I'm not throwing away a relationship just because we disagree. I'm not throwing away a relationship because you get sick, anything like that. So I used to be telling her, like, I think people like get out of relationships too easy, like without like really standing on what they want or fighting for what they want. And now if you don't want to be with that person, then that's different. But if you really want to be with that person, you really love that person, you really is in love and really feel like y'all can build together, grow together, live together, and that person can be your person. That's how I feel about relationships. Like, I don't be giving up. I'm gonna tell y'all now, I'm one of the people, I do not be giving up. I don't care how many arguments we have. They be little arguments too. I'm not the person who be giving up. I don't give up on my dude. Not at all. Not my man. No. And like, especially in stuff like that. But basically, From Scratch, it's about this black girl and this Sicilian guy, and they meet in Italy. When she was there studying art for the summer, she was in law school, she was studying art, and he was a cook, a chef, and he wanted to develop his own restaurant. He was, you know, traveling, trying to develop his skills and all of that, and they wind up crossing paths. And let's just say in the beginning, I ain't gonna say she wasn't feeling him, but I guess she was just leading towards the man who had it all, kind of, who had it all. He had money, he came from money, nice car, looked good, nice suits, everything. But I just think she was leaning towards him because that's what she thought she should have done. And then not only that, I think it was like helping her, trying to find herself in her artistry, and could possibly, you know, help with her career. But at the end of it, she was just like, nah, that ain't who I want. I want Lino. So her and Lino wind up hooking up, and then she had to go back to the States, finish school. And she had to finish school. She was in law school actually, but she wanted to be an artist so bad, and she paid to go to Italy. So at the end of the first episode, she left and went back. But before she went back, her and Lino talked about things. They was in a long distance relationship, and then like fast forward 18 months, he finally came over to America. They got engaged, and then they got married in Italy. Now let's just say Lino parents did not approve, because for one, his daddy had already kind of like disowned him because he dropped out of school. He didn't want him to work on the family land or farm. So his daddy was like, you nothing to me, basically, because he didn't do what his parents or what his daddy thought he should be doing in life. And that's a lesson too. Like, our parents, I know they be wanting the best for us, but sometimes I feel like they can overstep and over insert themselves when you become an adult, especially if you're not doing what they think you should be doing or what they want you to do. Especially if you got them headstrong parents like that, or them just like stubborn parents or stuck in their ways. That can definitely like ruin your relationship with your parents and your partner. And so once his daddy found out he was marrying a black American, his daddy's basically like, no, I'm not coming. Do not call me anymore. Don't ask your mama to come. So basically, there was a traditional Sicilian family. So when the wedding came, they had the wedding in Italy where they met. But then he wanted his family to come. They wound up not coming because his daddy basically forbid them to come. And so they supposed to be going on this honeymoon. And so Amy was just like, no, we too close to Sicily to not go visit where you from and for you to see your family. And so they took a train to Sicily from Florence. And when they got to Sicily, he tried to call his daddy. He called his daddy. His daddy picked up. Basically, his daddy knew it was him. And then so he spoke. And his daddy was like, no, you cannot come to my house. And hung up on him. And so with that, you could just tell the disappointment in Lino. And then when Amy looked, she was like, oh shoot. And you could kind of tell like her processing it like, I did this, like I shouldn't have forced it. And you know, sometimes that happen in relationship. You kind of try to force things on people because you really want the best for them, and you want them, I guess, to kind of see it from your eyes too. But that's gonna be hard. They can't see it from your eyes, and you can't see it from their eyes. That's another lesson. Like, everybody gonna love different, everybody want different things, and sometimes you really do want the best for your partner, and sometimes it don't come across like that. Like, I want this because I want the best for you. And so with that, they just like, forget it, let's just make this out of a honeymoon. Lino showed her around. So one day they was in a like local farmers market, and his daddy was there because his daddy was like a farmer. So he come drop off his vegetables and all of that. And him and his daddy locked eyes, and Amy kind of figured that was his daddy because how Lino looked. Because the daddy didn't see him at first. So how Lino looked when he seen the old man, and Amy looked like, that's him. And so when the daddy set down all the tomatoes, his daddy looked up and seen him, and they just like locked eyes for a good like 5-10 seconds. And his daddy, stubborn like most older people are, just like hopped in his truck and left. And you could just tell it was just like, damn. My daddy didn't even try to walk towards me. He didn't even wave. None of that. And so Lena was just like, come on, let's just finish enjoying. So honeymoon over, they went back to America. And both of them, they still trying to chase their dreams. She wants to be this artist. He wants to be this well-known chef. But him not knowing, like, it's not that easy when you come to America. He didn't have no documents at first, and then people didn't want to give him a chance either. So he was working at this Italian restaurant that was owned by Mexicans. The food wasn't that good, and so Amy, she was working at this art gallery, and so her supervisor wanted a reservation at this like Italian restaurant. So she's like, hey, you think you can get my husband a restaurant there? A job there? And she's like, you asking me to get your dude a job there? And so she's like, I'll see what I could do. So they went for their interview. Basically, the man treated him like he was the scum of the earth. The man was Italian. He was Sicilian. So basically, from what I got from there, is like Italians and Sicilians, they don't vibe with each other. Even though they're from the same country, they just don't mesh well with each other. Well, basically, Italians don't really like Sicilians. And so with that, that happened. So he was just stuck in that rut working at that same restaurant for like 2 years. And then he finally had this big break when the restaurant closed. He was like, hey, can we use our savings so I could do a pop-up shop? He did the pop-up shop, and it went good. So he wound up going into partnerships with the old owners of the restaurant. But then, you know how life hits you when you think you're going good. Life hits you, and he wound up getting sick. He got sick, so that took a toll on him. Now Amy, why I keep wanting to call her Lena? His name is Leno, and her name is Amy. But during that time, now she's the only one working, providing, because he was sick. And so once he got well, I'm really just giving y'all a general wrap-up summary. But once he got well, they wanted to have kids, but the doctor like, nah, you better off just saving your sperm, freezing your sperm, and then kind of doing like insemination or whatever. And so then they wind up adopting after that. So they was living their life, they going through life, and then after that, when the child come into play, you actually see how the dynamic of the relationship changed. At first, they was loving each other. Let's say from the beginning of the relationship, they were just so in love head over heels. They were still in love head over heels, but then that part of both of their families really wasn't that accepting to their relationship, because she was from Texas and he was from Sicily. So you married a Sicilian guy, her dad trying to figure out like, why you just can't marry no man in Texas? And then, you know, parents, they have their reservations anyway about your partner. Any parents who say they don't is a lie. They gonna have their reservation because they really do want what's best for you. And so then they got over that hump. Well, her family started, you know, kind of coming around and taking him in, being welcoming. His family still wasn't coming around. So once he got sick, his parents did come to America. They came, they started being more accepting. It really wasn't his parents, it was just his daddy. His mama was always like, she didn't really care, like, you my son. And so after that, they decided they want the baby. They couldn't have a baby naturally. And then he was just saying like, I really don't want you to go through it with using my sperm, simply because I don't want to pass down anything that I may have, and it could be hereditary, because he didn't know. So he was just like, I don't want you to pass that down to our baby, let's just adopt. So they went through the adoption process, got the baby, but then here comes the baby coming, throwing another curveball to the relationship. They just didn't know how that could change a relationship and the dynamic of the relationship, which I understand, because I don't have any kids, but that do seem like it would be hard on a relationship where it's just y'all in their relationship for years, and then a baby come, and then now you're trying to figure out the time schedule with the baby. Like, is she growing up, daycare, school, who's gonna help with homework, who gonna help with the baby feelings, who gonna help the baby getting sick, cooking, all of that. And y'all still trying to maintain what the bond y'all had too, but now that's bringing different energy and like just something different into the relationship. So I always wonder about that, like, how does having a baby actually changes a relationship? Because to me, I can just see like it's gonna be way different, because it's not just y'all can't just worry about just y'all. Now you have to worry about the baby, then y'all, or y'all then the baby, however people do it. You know, everybody's different. And so after that, she started feeling like she was a bad parent, she was a bad wife, and she just felt lost. And I could get that, like, she was just lost because she was like, I'm the sole provider, you can't work, you've been sick. So now he's at home building this bond with their daughter, and she's at work damn near all day, every day, trying to make sure they have a roof over their head and providing for them. And so that was another good, like, point in that, in the series, because it's just like, damn, people don't realize, like, sometimes you really still have to have that time just for y'all, outside of being parents, outside of being working, all of that. You still gotta take out that time. And so once they got over that, she finally expressed like how she was feeling, because at first she was telling her sister like, yeah, I just feel like this ain't it. Like, she felt bad, she felt like maybe she shouldn't have been a parent, all of that. So her and her sister was talking, and her sister was telling her like, you need to discuss this with your husband. So she finally got up the courage to like discuss that, and he was just like, I don't want you feeling like that. Like, just imagine how I'm feeling. Like, you have to go out there and work and provide for me because I'm sick, and I have to take on being a parent when I want you to have that bond with her too. But he was like, he was glad that he was able, you know, to have that bond with the little girl, because he knew deep down inside, he knew he wasn't gonna make it. And so after that, like, he got sick again, very sick, and that's when everything turned, like, went downhill. But I like how they did like memories and stuff, because when they was in Italy the first time, like when they first met, she had bought him like this notebook, and he just writing kind of like a journal. He was writing recipes, little love letters to her, all of that. And then there was something she was able to keep when he finally transitioned. And then his death kind of brought her and his mama close and his sister close. She actually went to Sicily and took the little girl so they can actually see where he was from. They had like his kind of funeral ceremony there. So I just think it's a good show, like 10 out of 10, 5-star. It's definitely a learning type of show. Like, you could take something from it. At first I thought it was just gonna be like a chick flick, and I love chick flicks. I love rom-coms. I love stories, romantic movies. That's like my genre. Besides comedy, that's what I go to anyway. But I'm just like, damn, they give you a better outlook like on life and relationships. Like, certain things that you probably arguing about in your relationship, like, it's not even worth it. Like, people are dying every day, or anything could happen. We sitting here arguing about something petty, like you didn't close the refrigerator enough time or something, whatever. You know, most arguments be petty anyway. But it was just a good lesson. Like, you just never know the amount of time you allotted with a person, whether it ends from death, it ends from separation, it ends from divorce, it ends from whatever it's gonna end from. It truly shows you, like, everybody's there for a reason and a season. His reason was to show her actual true love, and hers was too, and show like you can be different or from different places, but when y'all come together, y'all a team. Y'all gonna do whatever y'all need to do. And it shows sacrifice too. Like, it shows how much sacrifice it takes to be in a relationship, how much compromising you have to do. But no, if y'all got Netflix or got somebody password login and stuff, watch it. If you have 8 hours, I ain't saying you got to watch it straight, but get yourself some tissue. You ain't gonna need no snacks. Get yourself some water though, because you're gonna have a headache from crying. So get you some tissue, some get you some little pain pills for your little headache, because you're gonna be crying. And get you some water and get you a cover. Watch it. I would say, if you're not in a good space, I wouldn't even advise watching it, because it is so realistic and so relatable. Like, you could literally put yourself in their shoes. And baby, I was boo-hooing, especially episodes 6 through 8. You talk about waterworks, you talking about tears, baby. You would have thought I was Amy and Lino was my husband. Like, you would have really thought it was year 2000, I'm in Italy. You would have thought that I was crying, and baby, crying. I was crying, especially when he got sick. Now, I was crying like in the first few episodes too, because it was just so relatable. Like, the first episode I was crying because I was happy she actually found love, and then I was kind of mad at her too, because she kept trying to play my boy Lino. And then the second episode, it was just like I was crying like out of frustration. I get that frustration, like you really trying to work towards your goals and your dreams, and it just seemed like it's not working, like you stuck. Like, every time you get up, you get knocked down like 10 flights of steps. So I understood that too. Like, you know, sometimes you don't got no other emotion but to cry. Like, you cry out of frustration. Like, I'm mad as hell. And so, but the rest of it was just like, because you seen her losing her love of her life, basically. And he knew, like, damn, I'm going to have to leave her here, baby. And he was telling her, like, please find love again. Please find the strength to date again and find somebody who gonna love you and love our child. I'm like, baby, I'm kind of choking up right now, because that's have to be real love to say, you know what, I love you so much. When I'm gone, find somebody else who gonna love you how I love you. Oh, baby, y'all watch this dang on show. Watch the show. If y'all seen it, comment down below like what y'all thoughts are, or if you just have thoughts on relationships and love. What do you feel about that? What's your biggest like compromise for love that you have done? Anything, whatever y'all want to comment. I'm glad y'all watched. Comment, like, subscribe, share my channel. I'm gonna be posting more and more lately. So thank y'all for listening, and have a good day.